Today's topic of discussion is Newton's third law of motion, and the Newton's third law of motion is very familiar to everybody. To every action, there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Now, try to understand this in proper way. Okay, if you apply the force on any object, then there will be a reactive force on you. Okay, so reaction is always spontaneous. Okay, so every action you have, then there will be a reactive force according to the third law of motion. So if you apply a pushing force, or if you push the door, and at the same time the door is going to exert the same amount of force on you. Okay, so forces are always occurring in pair. Force on body A by B, force on A by B is equal to the force on B by A, and the direction of the force will be opposite. Okay, so if a body A is applying the force on B, then B also will apply the force on A, and these forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Okay, so this can be summarized in this equation, that force on A by B is equal to force on B by A, but the direction is opposite, therefore negative sign. All these are vector quantities, so generally they are written as force on A by B is equal to minus force on B by A. Okay, this way you can represent. Okay, vector quantities, force is a vector quantity. Okay, now thus if we are considering the motion of any one body, either A or B, only one of the two forces is relevant. It is an error to add up the two forces and claim that the net force is 0. If you take FAB, then minus FBA is taken on the other side, then it becomes 0. So net force is 0, we can say no. One of the force is relevant, okay, which is the cause of the motion of a moving body. Okay, now there is one example here. Two identical billiard balls strike a rigid wall with the same speed but at different angles and get reflected without any change in speed. Now figures are given to you, and the direction of the force on the wall due to each ball, okay, that are the direction of the force on the wall due to each ball. Second, the ratio we want to find out. Okay, now for the first case, you try to understand that here the figure I have shown. Okay, see, initially one ball is moving in this particular direction. Okay, in this direction it collides with the wall and it comes back. Initial and final speeds are same, directions are opposite, so initial momentum is mu, final is minus mu, because direction of velocity is opposite. So change in momentum, you can easily find final momentum minus initial momentum, and that will be minus 2 mu. Now this is the change in momentum, that is minus 2 mu. Okay, and that is calculated here, and in y direction there is no motion, or motion is only in one particular direction, so y component is 0. Okay, y component of the impulse will be 0. Impulse and force are in the same direction. So from the above, the force on the ball due to the wall is normal to the wall along the negative x direction, and using Newton's third law of motion, the force on the wall due to the ball is normal to the wall and along the positive x direction. So change in momentum is in negative direction, and this change in momentum is that of ball. change in momentum is of the ball. Okay, therefore the force on ball is in which direction? It is in, resultant force is in negative direction. So force on ball will be in positive direction. Resultant force on the ball is in this direction. Therefore, the force on the wall will be in positive x direction. Okay. Now we move further for the second case. Okay. The ball is moving at a certain angle now. Okay. So here you can closely look at this. Okay. It is very interesting here. This is the direction of motion. This is the direction of motion. Now try to understand. I have taken this according to our coordinate axis. This is your first quadrant, this is second quadrant, third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. The direction of motion is in this direction, and that is towards this fourth quadrant, we can say. And if the angle is here 30, then this angle will also be 30, as they are vertically opposite. So initial momentum is in this direction. Say this momentum, if I show in a vector form, then it is mu. Now I have to take two components. Now this is 30 degree, so x component will be in this direction, that is mu cos 30 according to our sign of x and y coordinates. Here x coordinate is positive in fourth quadrant and y coordinate is negative. So the x component of initial momentum Pix, momentum is mu, but x component will be adjacent side, therefore it is mu cos 30. So positive it will be because it is in positive x direction. And y component will be in this direction. Now this direction is negative y axis, so it will be minus mu sine 30. So these are the initial momentum component or component of initial momentum in x and y direction. Now final momentum is in this direction. This is the third quadrant. So final momentum will also have two components. Okay, see here they are written. Final momentum, it is making an angle of 30 degree. So final momentum will have x component in this particular direction, in the direction of say negative x axis, and it will be minus mu cos 30. And in this direction the y component will be there. This is negative y direction, so it will be minus mu sine 30. Now take the difference of momenta in x and y direction. So if you take the final momentum in x direction minus initial momentum in x direction, then you can easily write final momentum in x direction is minus mu cos 30 minus, that is difference, and the value in the positive x direction it was, so it is mu cos 30. So if you simplify, then you will easily get minus 2 mu cos 30, that is minus 2 mu into root 3 by 2. So it becomes minus root 3 mu. Okay. So resultant momentum, or rather change in momentum, is in negative x direction, that of ball. Resultant change in momentum of ball is in which direction? X direction, because in y direction you can see change in momentum will be equal to 0. So magnitude of this change in momentum in x direction, if you write, okay, that will be root 3 mu. Okay, this change in momentum of the ball in x direction is root 3 mu magnitude. In y direction it is 0. So we can say the change in momentum is in only x direction. Okay, so the ball is exerting the force on ball in positive x direction. Okay, because the change in momentum of the ball is minus root 3 mu, that is in negative x direction. Minus sign shows that it is in negative x direction. So change in momentum of a wall, that is force acting on the wall because of the change in momentum in the wall will be in the positive x direction. Okay, so it will be in the positive x direction. Now the last part is to find the ratio of change in momentum in both the cases. In the first case, the change in momentum is 2 mu, and right now the change in momentum is root 3 mu. Just take the ratio, you get the answer. Okay, now there is a conservation of momentum. By using second law and third law of motion, very important result is obtained, that of the law of conservation of momentum. Okay. Now try to understand one simple example which is discussed here. Okay. You have, say, one gun. One gun is there which is initially experiencing no force, means it is an isolated system. Say for example, this is the gun. Okay, let me draw it properly. It should look like a gun. Okay, and there is a bullet inside. Say this is the bullet. Okay, now initially it is an isolated system, so no force is acting on this system, or net force on this is 0. Initial force is 0, and everything is stationary, so there is no momentum of the bullet, no momentum of gun. So momentum of bullet and momentum of gun initially is 0. Now when the bullet is fired, then impulse of force, impulse impulse is nothing but change in momentum. Say force is exerted in this direction, F force is exerted, then impulse is nothing but change in momentum, and it is F into delta t, where delta t is the small time interval for which the force is applied on the bullet. So minus F force acts on the gun in opposite direction, in this direction. So impulse, that is change in momentum of gun, impulse on gun, that will be equal to minus F into delta t. So this is change in momentum of bullet, this is change in momentum of gun, or we can say this is the momentum of bullet, this is the momentum of gun. Okay, because initial momentum of both was 0. Okay, so now total momentum of this gun and bullet system, you can understand, total momentum of this gun and bullet system will be F delta t minus F delta t, and that will be equal to 0. So initial momentum was 0 because force was not there, so initial momentum of this system was 0, and final momentum is also found to be 0. So we can say that the total momentum of isolated system, is always conserved, or it remains constant. Isolated means no force is acting initially, external force is acting initially. So total momentum of an isolated system of interacting particles is conserved. Okay. Further, an important example of application of the law of conservation of momentum is the collision of two bodies. Say for example, there are two bodies A and B with initial momenta PA and PB, and when there is a collision, their momenta, final momenta, are PA prime and PB prime. Now that impulse of force, that is change in momentum of A, first of all we shall calculate. So impulse of force on A, that is change in momentum of A, that is final momentum of A minus initial momentum, that is Pa prime minus Pa. Similarly, the impulse of force on B will be final momentum of B minus initial momentum of B, and that will be Pb prime minus Pb. Now as you know that these forces are equal in magnitude, FAB and FBA are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So FAB is equal to minus FBA. Okay. Now you can write FAB, that is the force on A by B, is PA. You can write FAB from this. FAB is nothing but PA prime minus PA upon delta T. Similarly, FBA can also be written as PB prime minus PB upon delta T. All these are vector quantities. Okay. So we can compare FAB is equal to minus FBA, delta T will be cancelled out. Here FBA can be PB prime minus PB, okay, upon delta T, and they will be cancelled out, and if you simplify, then PA prime plus PB prime is equal to PA plus PB you will get. So initial momentum of the system and final momentum of system is found to be constant, or momentum is conserved, we can say. Now there is an equilibrium of forces and equilibrium of particle. Now try to understand. There are two forces, if you consider that these forces are F1 and F2 act on the particle. Okay, now equilibrium requires both the forces must be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, then and then the particle will remain in equilibrium. Try to understand it this way. If you have any particle, okay, if you have this object, and if F1 force is applied in this direction, F2 force is applied in this particular direction, this object will remain in equilibrium if these forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, then and then the particle will maintain its state of motion. So equilibrium of particle means the net force acting on that particular particle must be equal to 0, or the forces must be cancelling out each other's effect. Okay, so that is the two forces on the particle must be equal and opposite equilibrium under three concurrent forces. Now concurrent forces are the forces which are acting, or their line of action is passing through one common point. Okay, one common point mathi line of action of force must pass, then they are called concurrent forces. As you know, concurrent lines are the lines which are passing through one common point. Similarly, the concurrent force, say one force is acting here on this particle in this particular direction. Now another force is acting here. Their line of action of force are passing through this particular point. If another force is acting in this direction, okay, its line of action is passing through this point, then all these forces are said to be the concurrent forces. They are acting at one particular line. Now, if this force F1, say this is your force F2 and this is the force F3. Three persons are there which are having the ropes which are tied at one end, okay, and they are pulling these ropes, we can understand this way. Okay, now one force is in this direction, second and third force. Now if the particle remains at this point only, then we can say that these forces are in equilibrium. Okay. If the particle is moving under the effect of these forces, then we can say this particle is not in equilibrium or the forces are not in equilibrium, the resultant force will be there, some value will be there in one particular direction. But if F1 plus F2 plus F3, I am not talking about magnitude, its direction is concerned, is 0, then we can say that the forces are in equilibrium and the particle will maintain its state of motion. Okay, it is given here. Okay, say three forces are there, you can see F1 is in this direction, F2 is in this direction, third force is in this direction. If resultant of these forces is 0, then the x component of all the forces, y component and z component, all the components of forces will also be 0. If there would be any one of the component, then the particle would have moved in that particular direction. If any of the component does not become 0, then what will happen? That particle will move in the direction of that particular component which is not 0. But if all the components, that is x component, y and z components are 0, then we can say that this particle is in equilibrium. Okay, and the forces are said to be in equilibrium. This is shown here in the way of equation: x component of first force plus y component of, and all the x component of the forces, all the y component of the forces. Okay, x component of the first force, x component of the second force and x component of the third force, the resultant is 0. Similarly, all other components are 0. Okay, now this example I will try to explain later. Okay, so you can understand it properly. Okay, thank you.